Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I built my mini sink into my cabinet with plumbing that goes outside, that goes underneath my wheel well. Got a nice rechargeable faucet, so let's give it a shot. Guys, so if you've been following my channel, you know I love repurposing things and building things that were made from things that weren't meant to do things that I'm making them do. So today's no different. I'm going to make a sink, and what I'm going to use is this IKEA storage bin. It comes with this lid, so that's going to work really nicely. We'll see how that goes. Let's give it a shot. Alright, so I kind of drew a little bit of a template for what this is going to look like. I have some masking tape because I don't want to scratch my surface, but see, you see this will be a nice little lid on this sink, but the problem is there's no lip. So I'm going to have to cut it really well, which is hard for me to do, and especially with a jigsaw up here on my car, that's even extra hard. But I'm going to try to make it so that it fits in here and it's going to fit tight, and the idea is that I could have this lid too, so it'll look just like this, and I'll put a little cutting board on top of that, so this will double as a lid for my sink, a lid for the container, and of course I could also store things inside of it. So that's the handy part about that. So let's try to build this sink. And another reason why this is good is because it's so shallow. I'm going to say this is probably 4 inches. You see, you have a big sink. It's going to take up my whole cabinet, which I don't want it to do. I want some storage space in it. So I could buy a custom sink that's already made, that's small, but it's going to be deeper than this. This is very shallow, so I think it's going to work out well. Comes with a lid. Let's do it. The first thing I did was I drilled these holes for the corners. So go around the corners. Just use this bit here. All right, so we're going to clean that up and then connect the dots and cut out my sink piece. And I got some masking tape to not scratch things up as much. All right, that's what it looks like. I'm sure I see right here this looks good. Okay, right here this looks good. I'm right on the corner, but here it looks like I missed a little bit. There looks okay, and there looks okay. So we'll have to do some adjustments, but I think it's good enough. All right, got that piece out. Let's see how well it fits. Actually, that's actually really good. That's great. All right, I'm happy with it. I like the fit. Oops. So now I need to prep the sink and get it ready. All right, I think it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna sand down the edges, but that's the way it looks, the hole. Now I'm gonna prep my sink, get it ready. All right, that's the way it's gonna look. And the idea is to have this cover right on top of it. Okay, and it's gonna look like that. I'll probably put a cutting board on top of that cover, so you see there's a little indentation that'll fit a cutting board fine. But one thing I need to do is this is not a bowl, it's very flat because it's just a container. So what I need to do is I want to make sure the water doesn't collect in one spot or another because it's flat. So I'm going to try to give it a little bit of concaveness. So we'll try that. All right, so you guys know I make stuff up as I go along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat the plastic and I'm going to use this bat to kind of press down the middle. I don't know if that'll work, but we'll try it. All right, that actually, if you could see it, there's a little indentation, so I think water would kind of go down that way. So yeah, I think it worked. Oh, there, you can see on the bottom side, you see that? With the indentation. So that's good. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it real easy. I'm gonna epoxy this fitting. I'm gonna drill a hole, epoxy that, and then from there I can get regular PVC fittings on top of that. Okay, just gonna use epoxy and get that on in. Nothing fancy, I'm just gonna use some epoxy. I'm going to use the 5-minute epoxy that's a little bit thicker than the self-leveling one because I want it to hold. I'm going to epoxy it down, line the inside, and that will be watertight. Right, so for the plumbing, what I want to do is I want to try to route a pipe through this area right here. Yeah, it's going to be a little hard. The hard part is getting it out here. I want it clean. I don't want it in the way. I want it out of the way. And if I did it earlier, I could have taken all this paneling off and not built that cabinet, but that's too late. I don't want to take everything apart and put it back together. That's just too much. So I'm gonna just try to cut a notch there. All right, so I cut out a little notch there, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill another hole right there to get the pipe down. We'll see how that goes. All right, I'm at the point of no return. So the idea is that I would stick in this guy like that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to cut a little notch on the side of this too, and some path to route the pipe underneath all that. Alright, so I got a little channel for that pipe to run through. Alright, so I was working on that while I was waiting for the epoxy to dry, and it's drying out great. Looks good. You can see it, and epoxy is very strong. The bond is very strong. So I'm gonna clean my sink, wash it, and then we'll start installing this, and then we'll finish up the plumbing. All right, so now that I got that sink cleaned, we could put it here. And the idea, it's gonna fall through if I push it real hard. It's not strong enough because there's no lip on this. But the idea is that down here, I would build a shelf that sits right here, and that'll hold it up, and it's not going to move side to side. And that way I could have this nice lid on it that looks really clean and flush, and we'll get a cutting board on that. So let's build the shelf for this guy and cut around the drainage. Right, so I cut down just a little bit of an opening so that it handles the contour of the sink. And then we're gonna put it up like that, and it'll be nice and secure, and I'll have a little bit of a shelf space right there next to it too. All right, so I got that shelf in. Take a look at it. It's just a hole that'll just give me some room to do some plumbing, and that is gonna fit in there, and it's not gonna fall through because of that shelf there. Got a little bit of shelf space left and right, and I can access my plumbing. So that's the key. So get that lid on. Okay, it's looking good. going back to the plumbing routing, so we got to go back here, and the idea is that the plumbing would come down there, so that's easy once we get it there. But how are we going to get the water out? So I removed the spare tire, and there's this jack right here, and this jack is, you know, it uses compression to hold itself tight. But what I want to do is I want to get underneath that jack, and that cover right there will be my drain. So I'm going to take that cover off. All right, up here, and you can see once you turn it 90 degrees, it'll fall through those slats, and it'll pop right out. There, you could drain your water right there. All right, so with the spare tire back in, the challenge is to route this down underneath, and certainly is a gap. You can see there's a gap right there, and I plan to route my plumbing right through that gap. There's a flat spot, and we'll use some flexible tubing to get underneath there. Right. So here's that little, you can see the little indentation, and that's where I'm going to run my pipe down. Come down here and out the hole. So that's the idea, coming down this channel right there. I got these bulkheads from Amazon. It's a 4-pack. It's a 1 inch, I think. Yeah, 1 inch bulkhead. Hopefully it'll fit right over that hole. Hopefully it's not too big. Actually, it fits really well. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, look at that. I'll leave a link in the description. But this is a 4-pack of these bulkheads. It's for aquarium plumbing. All right, so I'm going to screw it in from the bottom side. That's the way it looks screwed in. Looks really good. Coming out, you can see it's not that deep at all. Definitely hit other parts of the car before it touches that. There, I have access to drainage. Before I get too far, what I want to do, because this is white and it stands out very much, I actually want to use some black electrical tape and wrap up this elbow before I start doing the plumbing, because I want it to blend in a little bit better. This flexible tubing, it's a 7/8 outer diameter, and that will fit really snug into these joints, these 1/2 PVC joints. So I'm gonna put some PVC glue on it also, but this will give me the flexibility to route down there. All right, I think it turned out all right. You can see the tube is running down that little channel, and it's going out there. So now the challenge is to get the jack back in somehow. We'll give that a shot. All right, with a little bit of persuasion, it actually wedges in there. I think it's going to be okay. So this was just a mock-up, so now I'm going to glue those things in, and then we'll start the plumbing to the sink. The tire on, take a look, and you can see there's still some play, so it's not kinking the line, so that's good. See, nice and movable. That's going to be perfect. All right, so I'm just going to try to use the regular PVC cement. Oh boy, and mine, it's pretty dry. Not so old, I don't think it's actually any good anymore. Well, I think I need to get some more cement, because that doesn't look good. All right, I went out and got a new one. Yeah, that's the way it should look. Get it all in there. All right, let's let that dry. We'll put everything back. While we're letting that dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a valve. And I want to put a valve right here, so just in case there are times when I don't want the water to flow outside, I want to be able to turn it off. But in addition, having a ball valve will kind of close off the outsides. Of course, while I'm driving, you know, just in case there's any kind of exhaust fumes or something that might be happening down there, I want to be able to close it so the exhaust fumes don't come into my car. All right, so here's my plumbing for the valve. I'm going to put it in there, but first I'm going to put some black electrical tape to make it blend in better again. All right, there's the tape. Let's put it on. All right, so that's in there. We're gonna route that pipe over there, and then I'm just gonna put some tape here to cover up some more of the white, and then we should be good. All right, this should be set enough for me to put it in. Put that there. Connect that there. And I'm not actually even gluing the PVC portion. Those are usually pretty snug. Okay. Let's go there, and you can see there's still some white, but it's okay. It still blends in pretty good, and this will be covered, of course. So let's get that plumbing to my sink. All right, so let's put this elbow here. We'll put that elbow here. We'll route the line back probably, let's say, we'll put it right here or something. We'll route the line and then come down right there. And then we'll be able to come down and attach to that pipe. And the plumbing should all be done. Got the hole drilled out, so now I can get the plumbing down underneath. You can see the holes right there. All right, got that plumbing in. Pipe, I went from 3/4 down to 1/2 because the space here, I only had room for 1/2 to go there. Comes down there and it comes out here. So before we do anything, let's test the water. We'll pour some water out and make sure it drains. All right, so we're just gonna make sure there's no leaks. All right, no leaks here. There is some right here. All right, so I gotta do a better job of putting on that elbow right there. No leaks there. You can see the water still sipping through here. You can see it going through the pipe. And it looks dry down here too. So that's good. Really good. There's the water coming out. All right, so my only weak point, you can see the water right there, is this elbow right here, and I kind of suspected it because I really didn't have the angle to get that elbow in real tight. So now I'm going to have to find a way to get the extra torque to push it in tighter. All right, so what I'm going to do is just gotta use this as a little bit of torque to try to get it in tighter. Oh, there, you can see it. It definitely moved in quite a bit. All right, so now let's test it. All right, let's get it in. We'll keep an eye on that joint. Perfect. It's dry now. All right, one last thing we need to do is we need to get the faucet in. And I plan to use this faucet here. It's a rechargeable water dispenser. And we'll put it right there. We'll drill a hole. And the nice thing is that it should hold fine with this tube here. And that tube will hold it well enough. But if I need to put something else to make it stronger, I could easily do that too. All right, we're gonna put it right about there. That seems good. Center it. right, so I got that tube through, and we're just gonna put it in. All right, then I'm gonna use the tube and just pull it down taut underneath. Might have been a little too aggressive with my hole. It's a little too close to the thing, but it'll still close. All right, so you can turn it because it's just a rubber tube. Comes down here, through there, comes around here, and this is where the water container will be. But we'll just test it right now with this. All right, so we got that water there. Let's come up here, got my sink. Turn it on. There you go. I got running water. See, it's kind of perfect where it lands. It's coming from here. And it's draining right there. You can see it's no longer leaking. You can actually see the water flowing through my clear pipe and out underneath the car. Perfect. All right, so now let's put everything back and see how it looks. All right, like I said, that's a little tight, but should be fine. Another look at the way it looks. Like I said, it's plenty of room. Let's get the cover back on. All right, looking good. So this bucket would normally go right there because of that pipe that I have right there. It's a little tight, but it's fine. It'll flow. And this would go into this tube for me to get water over here. So that's the idea. Let's make sure it's deep enough. I'll get a bigger tube because it needs to go a little bit further down. But that's easy. Got a longer tube. Put it in there and I should have plenty of water down there. Come up here, I got my faucet. It does turn. Got a cover for my sink. And that will work out great.